$150,000 for this car? That's how much my 2021 Tesla Model S Plaid was worth back when it was new. Nothing about this car feels like it should be that expensive other than the fact that it has 1,000 horsepower. Fortunately, Elon Musk has lowered the prices on these cars quite a bit in recent times. Maybe because he realized that these Teslas shouldn't cost that much to begin with. I've driven many cars worth $150,000 or more, like this G63 AMG, and when it comes to build quality, it's a night and day difference. There is no comparison, especially compared to German precision engineering. But then when I look at this Tesla, I do wonder, does build quality really matter all that much? More on that later. First, let me show you all of the horrendous quality problems that came with my Tesla Model S Plaid. We'll start with the door, where you can clearly see that the door trim is not inserted into the panel properly. Then you have the panel on the hood, which is completely not aligned. Then there's numerous panel gap problems where the gap width changes as you move along the panel. Then there's numerous problems with the trim on the interior where it looks like a 5-year-old assembled the car. This front and the lid feel a little flimsy, especially when you're trying to close it. There's just a certain kind of cheapness around it. With this passenger door, you have to slam it to close it, otherwise it doesn't close all the way properly. Really wish soft close was an option. That's just the beginning of it. There's all kinds of wear and tear like on the window switches, and this is a 3-year-old car. But none of this is a surprise. You already know this from the numerous reviews done on Teslas. This is a real problem. Recently, the Smoking Tire posted a video on the Cybertruck pointing out all of the issues with it. And I found a lot of those same issues when I did the review of the Cybertruck a while back, although I didn't talk about it quite as much. The thing is, when it comes to cars and you're paying this much money for a car, there's certain expectations. If you're gonna pay $150,000, you better get a car that can fit that price tag. But Tesla is not really a car company, it's different. I mean, it still looks like a car. It's got wheels, seats, front seats, back seats, seat belts. Although you do have a giant iPad in the middle. And the steering wheel, in my case, I have a yoke. But that's where the similarities with other car companies end. Much of Tesla is not really a car company, especially as you look at their latest creations. They're so focused on full self-driving, and they recently launched the Cybertruck, which it's a completely utilitarian vehicle, and it's meant to go to Mars or space or who knows where. There's so much focus from Elon Musk and Tesla on artificial intelligence and these things driving themselves that they, to be honest, don't really care about the car aspect of it whatsoever. If you see where the money's being spent, it's not so much on the build quality, it's about the software, the artificial intelligence, all of the technology. Tesla by far has the best software out of any company, and if you're a fan of Apple products like the MacBook, the iPhone, the iPad, those things work so incredibly well. Just like this car, this might as well be an iPad on wheels. And you know what's great about this is you just get in and it works every single time. It's so smooth, so intuitive, super easy to use. Think about how many times your computer crashes at home. Making software that works all the time is incredibly difficult. I have a stove at home with just a tiny bit of technology. That thing can't even work without crashing. It takes incredibly smart engineers to create something that works all the time, and they're also constantly pushing out software releases on this car. And you know what would happen if a software release was buggy? This thing would probably end up killing you. Your home computer crashes, no big deal, just restart. With this thing, as you're going down the freeway at 70 miles an hour and everything stops working, that would pretty much be the worst day of your life. That's if you survive to tell that story. I don't write software code, but I have an idea of how hard it is, and trust me, that's where Tesla is spending all of their money. Elon Musk could care less about car people and building a car that people love. What he's focused on is these things just driving people around and eliminating the human driver. I don't mean killing humans, I just mean getting rid of the steering wheel and people just ride along in these things. Despite the fact that the build quality is garbage, Tesla actually did a lot of things right with this car. It still looks good. The audio system is fantastic. It's quiet, luxurious. The air suspension is really great, and the car overall is really comfortable. And Tesla is really trying to push the boundaries. I mean, 1,000 horsepower from these batteries, that's pretty amazing. And the reason that Elon did that is because he's a car guy himself. Even though Elon is focused on technology, he did build this 1,000 horsepower car for the auto enthusiast, because who else would need such a thing like this? I have to say though, this Plaid really is something extraordinary. With the way Tesla's pushing boundaries with this car, I can ignore the fact that these door handles just feel so cheap. The bottom line is you can't have it all. If you expect German build quality and this level of technology with self-driving and artificial intelligence, a car like this would easily cost $200,000 or $300,000 or more. And this is where the future is headed anyway. We're about to be completely overwhelmed by technology. We're almost already there. And so this car is just accelerating our path to that inevitable future. The full self-driving in this car works so well that they're not that far off from this being completely hands-free. A lot of people are scared about that future. They're worried that they can't drive in these cars without having to drive it themselves. But what I would say is that the person that can send astronauts to space completely autonomously, surely they can figure out autonomous cars and safely transporting humans on regular roads. I had to switch locations because, you know, a fan showed up and I can't film with an audience. It breaks my concentration. There's one big reason why Tesla doesn't really care about fixing its build quality is because people will buy them anyway. Tesla has already sold so many of these cars to people despite the build issues. There is a follow the herd mentality that's going on. Just because neighbors have them, people must go out and buy them in droves. But also the car really wouldn't sell that well if it wasn't ultimately a great product. Take a look at the iPhone. Many people, just like myself, love the iPhone because it's a fantastic product, and vast majority of people are not car enthusiasts. They just want appliances, something easy and convenient. This really is the DoorDash or Uber of cars. Just click on the app and it'll just work. It's really not a surprise that these cars sell as well as they do because people love simplicity, ease, and something that's cool. This is a unique piece of technology and everybody loves it. Most people could care less about build quality. What they're fascinated by is the technology, and this is as good as it gets. If Tesla does make a Model 2 that's $25,000, they will take over the entire auto industry. Teslas are already getting cheaper. If they actually build a $25,000 car, they will put every other car manufacturer out of business. As long as, of course, they continue to build charging stations, because charging this thing is still not as easy as it could be, but I'm sure they're gonna get there soon. Tesla is not that far away from becoming fully driverless, so at this point you might be wondering, why would I even get one? I bought this car for two reasons. Number one is the technology, and number two is 1,000 horsepower. Trust me, 1,000 horsepower never gets old, especially with electric motors. In a separate video, I'm going to show you just how good full self-driving is on this car. It's simply amazing. In terms of just pure auto enthusiasm, there's cars that are obviously better than the Tesla Model S Plaid, but this one comes close. Even though I just talked about all of the reasons why this is not a car company, you know what? Tesla's built a really good car with the Plaid. And whatever kind of company Tesla chooses to be, the fact remains that this car is the cheapest way for you to get 1,000 horsepower.